Hey, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the WTH podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Wherever you might be, welcome into the show. Hope you had a better week than a lot of folks. We'll just say that. Jason will be joining us in a little bit. He's dealing with some dad stuff. So maybe he'll be joining us in a little bit. We'll see. I would not be shocked to find out Jason does not end up joining us. So Kareem is here, so we've got this thing handled either way. Kareem, welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Let's turn you up. Alrighty, we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to get into this week in COVID, of course. We're going to talk about Tucker Carlson and his weird cartoon fetish that we found out about. And why people are burning their Carhartt.
What?
You haven't heard about people burning their Carhartt stuff?
No.
Oh, well. Then you are in for a treat of stupidity.
I didn't think, well, I take that back. I can't even say that I didn't think that it could get more stupider, but
it is.
They keep moving the bar on us every week, or lowering the bar every week.
Yeah. Yep. The bar for stupidity is now one of those electric rabbits that the dogs chase at the dog track. Is that still a thing?
I think it's on the underside of hell at this point.
Yeah. It's just constantly moving. We got all that to get to, but until Jason joins us, we're going to start with the NFL playoffs. We had one of the, what some people are calling one of the best weekends of playoff football in history. And I guess that would depend upon who you ask. But let's start out by talking about Saturday's games. So Saturday, the early game was the Tennessee Titans hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. And you would think that Tennessee, the number one seed in the AFC, would have handled the Bengals, who have never in their history won a road playoff game. Not once. They've been to 2 Super Bowls. They have never won a road playoff game. They sacked Joe Burrow 9 times. 9 times. The game was in Nashville. And yet, the Cincinnati Bengals are moving on.
Now, I'm not totally surprised because we beat the Titans this year.
The Titans lost a few games this year, but they still were the number one seed in the AFC. Yeah, a lot of that comes from playing in a weak division, but
and our offense sucked most of the time.
When Kareem says our, he means the Steelers.
Our offense was good for 1 quarter every game of the season. That's it.
And apparently that's all you need.
That's all we need. That's all we need. I still don't understand how you sack a quarterback 9 times and lose a game.
I'm baffled. I'm fully baffled. I'm also fully baffled as to how Joe Burrow is still walking around. And I need to know at this point, how can you not be a Joe Burrow fan if you are a football fan?
Yeah, I liked him at LSU. I watched that his last season at LSU, and I was like, damn, we're going to be in trouble.
He has got a swagger about him. Now, he's been hurt. He was hurt last year, and he was hurt, I believe, earlier this year for a little bit as well, because he got sacked 9 times. That's not a recipe for long-term health. But
and
he has brought... Go ahead.
And a lot of quarterbacks don't come back from that.
Right. He has brought a swagger to Cincinnati that they have not had in 30 years since Icky Woods.
I won't go that far back. They did have some swagger under when Carson Palmer was there.
Yeah, not the same though, man. It was not the same.
Not this level of swagger, but
that's what I'm talking about.
Good.
They were a good team, but they didn't have that. There wasn't that. Carson Palmer never had that yeah, get behind that guy sort of
Yeah.
factor that Joe Burrow has, where and it may seem jive, but the smoking the cigars after wins and just listening to him in interviews, man, you just want to line up behind that dude.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
they just need an offensive line to line up in front of that dude.
Oh man. And Mike Vrabel, I don't understand how it's 3rd and 1, you don't run Travis Henry, you run your quarterback, and then 4th and 1 when everybody knows what you're gonna do. I mean, you might as well ran the same play you ran on 3rd down and 4th down.
Right. Unlike the Bucks in the way they tied the game on Sunday, and we'll get to that game in a little bit.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati won the first game of the weekend, so that was a nice surprise. It was a nice surprise. I'm happy for them. They're a team I can be happy for.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to them losing to the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl again. That would be 3 times that happens to their franchise.
So
Because go
there's a
ahead.
kid from Sacramento that plays for the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name, but I know his mom.
Is he a linebacker?
He's a linebacker or a safety.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. So again, I look forward to them losing to the 49ers in the Super Bowl, because the 49ers also moving on, having taken out Aaron Rodgers again. Aaron Rodgers now 0-4 against the 49ers in the playoffs in his career.
Oh, that was the best thing of the weekend.
0-4 against the 49ers in his career in the playoffs. And I mean, say what you will. He's 38 years old. And he put up a lot of numbers throughout the year. And he also caught a lot of flack for suddenly becoming a quote unquote expert on COVID. Again, I maintain he should have, spent more time researching how to win against the 49ers in the playoffs, and a little, researching his alternate treatments for COVID. And, trying to fool people into thinking he'd been vaccinated when he has not been vaccinated. I was inoculated. You dick. I think you sent me this on Twitter. Ben Pfeiffer power ranking the top 10 Aaron Rodgers nicknames. Number 10, Kurt D. Wormer. Number 9, Q Aaron Rodgers. Number 8, Tucker Carlson. Number 7, OANE Romo. Number 6, QB Giuliani. I enjoy that one.
Yeah.
Number 5, in sort of an homage, Breitbart Star.
Yeah.
Number 4, Prager Unitas. Number 3, I enjoy this one as well, Throw Rogan. Number 2, Rush Lambeau. Rest in peace to Limbaugh. And I'm not sure how our boy Danny got involved with this, but the number 1 Aaron Rodgers nickname, Clan Marino.
Yeah, I was wondering about that one too, because I didn't know that Dan was
I don't think he is. I think it
Yeah.
was just a way of doing a rhyming first name thing. But Aaron Rodgers now has the offseason to think about, does he want to come back as a 39-year-old quarterback? I was curious if the Steelers might go after him, but he is exactly 1 year younger than Ben Roethlisberger. So that's not really a great move for them.
We were a lot of us were excited about the possibility until he came out as who he was, and now I'm like, fuck him, I don't want him.
Giant selfish prick.
Yeah. And then the other thing, the Steelers fans like to complain about Tomlin's playoff record. Well, Aaron Rodgers' record is pretty much the same as Tomlin's lately. So
Aaron Rodgers is not an elite playoff quarterback. He's not. He just isn't. Jimmy Garoppolo, by the way, 5-1 in the playoffs. 5-1. Only loss was to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was watching the First Take, and they were saying that Stephen A. said Big Ben was never a top 5 quarterback top. I'm like, yeah, in the regular season he wasn't, but he was better than Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. He was dependable in the playoffs.
And I mean, there's always that back and forth, you know. I mean, you have to be decent in the regular season to get to the playoffs. Are you putting up the huge numbers? Are you putting up the um, gigantic stats? Speaking of Dan Marino put up huge numbers in the regular season. His team wasn't necessarily that great. They didn't have a running game. They went to the Super Bowl, I think his second season. Was it his second
Yeah,
season?
yeah.
Lost to the Niners. Never got back.
They never had
Does
a defense.
Yeah, their defense was never that great. Their running game was never that great. So it was a lot of him just throwing for a lot of yards. It was entertaining football for sure. But
Yeah,
so it's a team game. It's
yeah,
absolutely a team game. So your quarterback can be the difference between winning and losing. Um, see Ryan Tannehill.
yeah.
Um,
Most definitely there.
Most definitely. Aaron Rodgers did not play well on Saturday.
No.
He didn't. He did not, and his team is now out. Is now out of the playoffs.
I was just listening to Swagoo before this, and he said that the Packers should go ahead and move on from him.
He's gonna be 39 years old. At this point, they drafted the guy they thought was going to be his replacement. Is he?
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not.
Well,
But
if if you go 13-3 and you never make it out of the first round of the playoffs, what's the point in having him?
right, and he's going to be 39, so it's
Yeah.
not like he's not Tom Brady.
Yeah.
There is a wear and tear on him. Tom Brady, I believe, led the league in passing this year at 44,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Aaron Rodgers, while he might be the MVP this year, he just doesn't feel like the guy you want quarterbacking your team for the next 3 years.
No.
Maybe
He's
I'm
definitely
wrong.
not he's definitely not the one I want coaching. We
Right.
finally got some cap room. I mean, playing we finally got some cap room. I want us to use that to rebuild the line. Maybe grab us a cornerback and get a mid-level quarterback. Let our defense get back to where it was when we get two of our defensive linemen back and move forward. Do not bring him to Pittsburgh.
Is Colin Kaepernick an option in Pittsburgh? Now, assuming he would want to come back. He hasn't played in what, 4 years? 4 or 5 years at this point?
Yeah. If he was
And
an option anywhere, Pittsburgh is the place.
let me be very clear about Colin Kaepernick, because you look through your Facebook memories.
Yeah.
I go back through my Facebook memories and I am reminded on a weekly basis from November through early January of how frustrating it was to have him as the quarterback of my team. He was not a great quarterback. He was a serviceable starter. He was an average at best NFL quarterback. I fully support taking the knee. I think it was not only acceptable, I think it's commendable. But as far as his overall ability to play football, yes. Is he good enough to be in the league? Yes. Is he good enough to be a backup on probably 20 of the NFL teams? Yeah. Is he good enough to be a starter? There might be 2 places that he's better than all of their quarterbacks, assuming he picks up right where he left off, and he at this point is now going to be I believe 33. So it would be interesting to see him in Pittsburgh. If you bring him in, he's serviceable. If you've got a running game, you've got a defense, you'll win some games. But if you want to get another quarterback like a Ben Roethlisberger, how do you do that as a Steelers team that is, constantly making the playoffs and, finishing mid-pack? How are you going to get that next quarterback?
That's why I wanted us to lose those games, man.
Speaking of losing, moving on to Sunday, the Rams did everything that they could, everything in their power to lose that game, including giving up a tying touchdown very near the end of the game. But inexplicably, they decided not to cover Cooper Kupp, the best receiver on the Rams, wide open down the field twice in that last drive that set up the game-winning field goal. And Antonio Brown just shit talking all over social media.
They did not. They were supposed to run a cover zero blitz on that play. Everybody did it. Half the team did it. Half of them didn't, and that's what their problem was on that last play, that last big throw.
Yeah, but it wasn't just that one. There was another long completion to him before that too, where he was able to get out of bounds.
Yeah,
it was a terrible, as good as the comeback was. They just absolutely sat on their own balls on that last drive, and they sat on their balls. They went, ow, stood up a little bit, sat right back down on them. Did it like 3 times.
Ouch.
I mean, they might have lost anyway in overtime, but yeah, that was and we'll see if Tom Brady got his very first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty in that game too. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Dude he did get hit in the head. He turned around to Ed Hockley, and if you don't remember who Ed Hockley is, he's the referee who lifts weights and flexes every time he makes a whatever he said to Ed Hockley. He got a 15-yard penalty, and it went from being third and 2 to 3rd and 17. Now they converted, but it did sort of change the makeup of the thing. And then you could see Brady was bleeding from the mouth too. So he clearly got hit. They missed that call. But either way, and he was asked if he was done, if he was going to come back. He's like, I'm just thinking about the game today. So 44, I can't blame him. He doesn't need any more money. He makes a ton in endorsements. He's got a supermodel wife, a big house in Florida where there's no state income tax. I think he's probably going to wait around to see what they do with the team to see if it's worth it to come back or not. I mean, he doesn't have anything to prove to anybody at this point.
And the team's not going to be able to do, like, this team pretty much brought back all of the starters on both sides of the ball. They're not,
and the coaches.
And
the coaches.
They're not going to be able to do that this time.
No. And finally, the last game of the playoffs, the one that has a lot of people whining about the overtime rules.
Oh my God.
The Chiefs beat the Bills in overtime. And I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of this game. Unfortunately, it was the high scoring game of the weekend. So it was a lot of up and down. You got 2 really good young quarterbacks, 2 very good teams. And Kansas City, the only home team to win this weekend, the only one.
I was working, and I got home for the 4th quarter, and man, the last 3, you could have gone and not watched everything but the last 3 minutes of the game, and you would have felt like you watched a great game.
So much going on. I watched a lot of the beginning of it, and Josh Allen is so good, and the Bills are so good, and these 2 teams are going to fight with each other, I would say, probably for the next 5 to 7 years in the AFC to see who gets to go to the Super Bowl. And good luck to anybody else trying to bust into that.
Yeah.
That being said, I will not sell Joe Burrow short. I would not be surprised to see Cincinnati nut up, go into Arrowhead, and beat the Chiefs.
I would not either.
and I would delight in that for a variety of reasons. Also, the 49ers are going back to LA, where they finished the season. By the way, Jimmy Garoppolo has not in his career lost to the Rams. Has not happened.
Okay, so we're
I,
gonna hopefully keep that energy going.
I don't think next week is going to change anything. I think the Rams are a little full of themselves. I think they are fat and happy. I think uh, they're a tough team. They're a
Yeah,
tough team. But I think that the 49ers can punch Matthew Stafford in the mouth, so to speak,
yeah,
in a way that the Buccaneers could not. And I think that is going to be the difference between the Rams being able to win the game and not win the game. And God damn it, if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't do just enough to win all the way through, they drafted his replacement. You've got a bunch of people going, "It's time to sit Jimmy G." I saw people shitting all over him on Twitter in the final regular season game, saying shit like, "Oh, this has been fun and all, but let's get Trey Lance in there." I haven't seen shit from Trey Lance. I mean, he may be a great NFL quarterback down the line, but
yeah.
right now, there is no way I want Trey Lance as my quarterback over Jimmy Garoppolo in any sort of pressure situation. It's no.
No,
That would be dumb. So we'll see. We'll see if they always see the rub is the saying goes, the NFC and AFC championship games are usually better than the Super Bowl. The divisional round maybe better than all of them. So we'll see what happens with that. Where do you stand on the NFL overtime rules? Are you whining for change?
no. They need to stop being bitches. It's
I saw a lot of that.
I really don't understand why we keep trying to change the rules to accommodate bullshit. I
And
mean, they changed the rules to make it so that both teams have an opportunity to have possession in the period.
unless the first team that has the ball scores a touchdown,
Hey, guess what you're supposed to do if you're the other team?
not give up a touchdown.
Not give up a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the easy way to prevent it.
Uh,
Uh,
I mean, so
if you're going to tweak it at all, then maybe you change it to each team gets a chance to touch it. But if you give up that first touchdown, you've got to go for two. If you get the ball and score a touchdown, because we can't have this college. Everybody's like, "Oh, we need the college football wave." No, we don't. We don't need NFL games to be 5 hours long. No one
no,
needs that.
nobody wants that.
So if you're going to change it, go, okay, they scored a touchdown, kicked an extra point. Now you have to go down and score a touchdown, and you either get a 2-point conversion and win, or you don't and you lose. That's it. And people will whine about that, but
Well,
either way.
So Buffalo, 13 seconds. You have the game won. You mismanaged the game. I don't give a you mismanaged the kick, you mismanaged the defense, all of that shit. You should not have lost the game in 13 seconds. Or you should have been in overtime. Point blank period. So I asked the question for the people that say that you need to change rules. So what? So if Buffalo had intercepted the ball and scored a touchdown, should Kansas City get another possession?
People are never going to be happy. And that's
Well,
ultimately that's the problem. Is people are never going to be happy.
yeah. Or if they fumbled it on the kickoff and they recovered that and scored, should they get a do-over? Like, no.
I want a mulligan.
Exactly. And that's pretty much exactly what it is. But you notice nobody asked you to change the shit during the regular season when it's two sorry teams playing.
Right. Well, the difference is in the regular season, we had ties this year.
Yeah. The Steelers were one of them.
Yeah. So you had
Nobody asked them for them to play until it was like, get this shit off my TV. Hurry up, somebody score.
all right. So the NFL, moving on. Anything in particular you want to talk about this week, Kareem?
I was trying to find that kid's name from Sacramento, but his name is, I think it's Travion Henderson. Sorry
Oh,
about
he's
that.
lost his microphone, as in
There
he
we go.
knocked it over.
Yeah. The shit, we got to go back to January 6th in this commission shit.
Oh, good.
Uh,
That's kind of what I was what I wanted to talk about as well.
so, and I can't keep stressing this enough. Get your head out your ass, because this dude had a not he didn't they had like a plan for a coup, and you can't describe it as any other thing. The fact that they had written up somebody had written up a plate a presidential order for him to have the military seize the voting machines, and sorry, the heat just came on, startled me there for a minute.
Kareem's been startled by his furnace.
But the fact that he had a plan for the military to take over the voting machines and him to set up a tribunal, the idea that it got to that point,
Mm-hmm.
and you still had people like Michael Flynn in his ear, and this guy who was a psyops guy in the military, who's possibly the author of that said memo. That's some shit that should scare everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's not, it's because you don't know what the fuck is going on. You haven't seen anything about the way these things happen in other countries. Are you too stupid to think you still believe in American exceptionalism and you think that the shit won't happen here?
Or you think it's my side. Cool.
Yeah.
To sort of piggyback onto your point, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich went on Fox News Sunday, or he went on Mornings with Maria, on Fox News Channel, and said this about the January 6th Commission.
You're going to have a Republican majority in the House and a Republican majority in the Senate. And all these people who've been so tough and so mean and so nasty are going to be delivered subpoenas for every document, every conversation, every tweet, every email, because I think it's clear that these are people who are literally just running over the law, pursuing innocent people, causing them to spend thousands and thousands of dollars in legal fees for no justification. And it's basically a lynch mob. And unfortunately, the Attorney General of the United States has joined that lynch mob and is totally misusing the FBI. And I think when you have a Republican Congress, this is all going to come crashing down. And the wolves are going to find out that they're now sheep. And they're the ones who are, in fact, going to, I think, face a real risk of jail for the kind of laws they're breaking.
Okay, no one's breaking laws. They're investigating what happened on January 6th.
Yeah.
No laws are being broken. They're investigating laws being broken. This pile of human excrement is part of why we are where we are. The way
Yes.
he was Speaker of the House in the 90s, the way he conducted himself and conducted his business. Liz Cheney tweeted that out and said, a former Speaker of the House is threatening jail time for members of Congress who are investigating the violent January 6th attack on our Capitol and Constitution. This is what it looks like when the rule of law unravels. Again, I'm not someone who normally agrees with Liz Cheney on anything. But these people have lost their fucking minds with this idea of power, this idea of threatening. And if you listen to the language he used, it was very Trumpy. It was all of these people who were being mean. They're being mean, Kareem.
And the thing is, he's a very intelligent person. And I think I've said this once before on the podcast. It's like, when do they stop believing their own bullshit? Or, like, do they, are they playing the game, or have they fucking fallen down the well? And it's like the people who were selling during the housing market crash.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, have y'all gone, you were selling the bullshit. Did you forget that you were selling the bullshit and now you're buying it?
I think it depends on who it is. I really do think it depends on who it is. And this is all part of a huge power grab. And of course, politics is a power grab. It doesn't matter who you are. You if you're in politics, you're looking to accumulate power so you can get your agenda pushed forward. if you are a Republican, I'm not really sure what your agenda is aside from not allowing government to function normally.
And they got mad at Biden for pointing that out last week.
Oh, yeah, they got very angry when he asked, what do you stand for?
Yeah. And you really have to ask the questions like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Well, we know what they're doing. They're in a power grab situation.
Yeah.
And they are totally okay. They are the Republican Party in the 90s started the swing over to the ends justify the means. But it was always cruxed against, we can't go too far against the norms. We can't go too far against the norms. And what the nomination and election and 4 years of Donald Trump has shown them is, fuck the norms. We can do what we want.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any real consequences. And when consequences are threatened, we just say, well, you know what's going to happen? It's going to be when we're in charge, we're going to make it way worse for you. And yes, there's projection. Literally everything that they accuse Democrats of are things that they are already doing.
Yeah. It's like, what do you think that they're not going to do? At this point, I'm looking at Democrats and like, what do you think they're not going to do?
Right. I mean, it's why a lot of people are getting out of politics. When you see a lot of people who just aren't going to run again, that's one of the reasons why. Because I was listening to an interview on Michael Cohen's podcast with a member of Congress from Tennessee, whose last name is also Cohen. And he's like, there are a lot of these people who they're crazy. He goes, you cannot work with them. They're not reasonable people that you can have a conversation with and work with. It just doesn't exist. And he's like, that's why so many people are getting out, because they just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with their family being threatened. They don't want to deal with everything that goes along with it. Like, it's not worth it to me to fight with it. And the problem is, it is worth it for these extremists, people like Madison Cawthorn and Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and Lauren Boebert's a little different case. Yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the other ones. This is
all they got, really.
It's all they got, and it seems to be what they enjoy. They enjoy just the idea of being miserable to other people. That it seems to be what they enjoy. They enjoy the idea of, I'm going to go and I'm going to quote unquote own the libs. And for sane people, it's exhausting to deal with that. I mean, I remember when Trump finally lost, everybody was like, finally we can breathe. Except we really can't. We were able to breathe a little bit because he's not on Twitter all the time. So it's not this constant barrage of complete and utter nonsense, at a whim. But the ideas that are sort of being pushed forward are still being pushed forward. That hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter kind of what they're looking for. That leads me to the whole Carhartt situation, Kareem, which I'm pleased that I'm very pleased that I can break this to you, because Carhartt announced that they are going to continue with their mandate that their employees get vaccinated against COVID. They consider it a health issue. They want to keep their workforce healthy. A lot of the people who buy Carhartt are self-described patriots. They've got a lot of American flag memorabilia. They have the ability to burn things in their yard, which they're very excited about. And because Carhartt has decided to keep up with the mandated vaccinations to keep people healthy, they are now calling for a boycott of Carhartt, which of course is their right. Just as it's your right to say you should boycott Chick-fil-A because of the way their stance on gay rights. This is America. Yeah. You're allowed to do it. This is just one example. I've seen several. This is just one example. And this is a gentleman on Facebook. He actually owns a clothing company. It appears he owns a clothing company too. So he's a public figure, whatever. Anyway, he's going to explain why he's saying, "Dear Carhartt, see you later."
And all my Carhartt shit, and they're not going to care. It doesn't mean anything. It has no meaning. You're just the same as everyone else. You go woke and be dumb. So yeah, all right, let's go. I'm not doing this to be cool. I'm doing this because I cannot believe all the years of hard work put in, and you guys just roll over. Literally, these pants right here, these fucking pants, my favorite pants I've ever owned. They used to be this color. They used to be this color. Now I wore these out. It's my favorite. I love this thing.
Flannel shirt.
Welded in that.
Now he's gathered them up. He's thrown them out in his front yard.
This will go up real nice.
He's spreading gasoline on them.
If anyone else would like me to come to their house and do this for them.
And he's got a flamethrower attached to a propane tank. And he's making a trail of gasoline from his driveway over to the clothes, too. And he's lit the trail and the Carhartt's on fire.
All right, well, I should have known. I should have known when I seen dudes with purple hair and wearing lipstick and pastel-colored Carhartt. I should have known. Go woke, go broke. I hope Carhartt loses their ass. But you know what? If you're a blue-collar guy and you're wearing that, unfollow me.
Okay. So I'm going to stop wearing my very expensive workwear that I love wearing.
If you're does he know how much of a bitch he sounds like?
No.
If you're a blue collar person, unfollow me.
Unfollow me. Look, is that not the most snowflakey video you've ever heard?
Oh my God.
Again, if you want to boycott Carhartt, go ahead. I don't care. And it's not going to hurt them because Keith Lowell Jensen is going out and buying Carhartt this week. If there was ever a human being that would have never bought Carhartt before, it's Keith Lowell Jensen. Does that man need hardcore workwear for anything? No. He does. His day job is doing social media stuff, and he's a stand-up comedian. He is literally the last person who needs a piece of Carhartt apparel, yet he is going to buy some this week.
If you're a blue collar guy, what the fuck are you doing on Facebook?
Making videos and complaining. But here's the other thing. If you need to spread that much gasoline on your clothes to burn them, then you're not good at fire.
No.
If you need a flamethrower attached to a propane tank to light your clothes on fire that you've soaked in gasoline, then you're not good at fire.
He'll set his own self on fire.
I need to have his blue collar card taken away.
Exactly.
You know who needs to take it away? A guy in purple hair wearing pastel Carhartt.
That would be. I would pay to see that. Pay-per-view.
He's not the only one. You can search on YouTube. If you just search boycott Carhartt, you'll see a lot of that. It's like these people have paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars for this clothing, and you do because it's high quality stuff that like work guys wear. Like my father-in-law was an iron worker. He wore Carhartt because it stood up to the rigors of that type of work. There's a reason people buy it because it's good. And if you're going, this same guy also posted a picture of himself burning his hat that he loved. And it was like this little love letter to this hat that he'd had for 10 years.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I got a pair of pants that I've worn for that long If somebody makes a pair of pants that last that fucking long,
right?
and I can still wear them, I'm not burning them over some bullshit.
I'm gonna boycott Carhartt because
No.
go woke and go broke. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't think it's going to happen.
Sit your dumb ass down.
Yeah. I'd unfollow him, but I'm not following him, so that makes it pretty easy. Moving on, it's time for This Week in COVID. And I heard of something this week that I had not heard of. Now, I know there's a lot of things that go along with COVID that people don't talk about very much, specifically long haul COVID, because it can jump and attack different organs. I've seen people on Twitter talking about how it attacked this organ and then it attacked this organ. And you know, they had a mild case of COVID. And, you know, down the line, 6, 8, 10, 12 months later, they're dealing with all of these other things. But now we're finding out about the first ever case of a man who suffered agonizing penis pain due to a mild COVID-19 infection 3 weeks earlier. What happened was it caused a blood clot of his penis vein mid-erection. It
Ouch.
took two months of blood thinner treatment before he regained normal function.
Ouch.
That is the story that needs to be told. That's the story that needs to be told on every TV station, on every podcast, on every newspaper and magazine article. Because if you want dudes to really consider, do I want to get the shot or not? Let them know that incredible pain is possibly coming for their wang.
Was that Nicki Minaj's cousin?
It's Nicki Minaj's cousin. It was. No, but that claim was that it was the shot that did it to him. No, this was this is absolutely
Ouch.
crazy. Yeah. Apparently the deep dorsal penis vein runs the whole length of the penis, is involved in a supply of oxygenated blood to the organ. An ultrasound showed no blood flow in the vein due to a clot around halfway along the penis. The story is in the New York Post as well as the journal that it was in. The unnamed male had suffered penile pain for 3 days before being seen by a urologist in Iran, who referred him for tests. The discomfort began following an erection while having sex, the 41-year-old married man told doctors. Soon, doctors started giving a blood-thinning medication used to treat and prevent blood clots. 2 months after starting the treatment, the patient's symptoms were completely gone. He had no penile pain during erection or sexual disturbances anymore. However, he's still experiencing a little pain under pressure at the site of the blood clotting, and doctors had to drain blood from the penis using a needle because ice packs did not work to bring the stiffness down. Now, again, maybe this is
sleep. Put me to sleep.
So you might have a case of dong hall COVID. You don't know. It could be coming.
I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, you don't want that at all. Rio de Janeiro has postponed Carnival parades due to COVID-19 surge. So it's real. This one I call Check and Mate. Hannah Horka is a Czech singer. She has died after catching COVID intentionally. See, in the Czech Republic, they have rules that say you either have to be vaccinated or show that you've recently had COVID, because there is a bit of an immune response to it. So if you've literally just had COVID and you're over it, it's sort of like getting vaccinated, but for a very short period of time. She was 57, unvaccinated, posted on social media she was recovering after testing positive, but died 2 days later. Her son said she got infected on purpose when he and his father had the virus, so she could get a recovery pass to access certain venues. The Czech Republic has reported a record number of COVID cases. The son and his father, who are both fully vaccinated, both caught COVID over Christmas, but he said his mother had decided not to stay away from them, preferring instead to expose herself to the virus. She should have stayed isolated for a week because we tested positive, but she was with us the whole time, he said. Now, in the Czech Republic, proof of vaccination or recent infection from the virus is required to gain entry into many social and cultural venues, including cinemas, bars, and cafes. His mother was a member of one of the oldest Czech folk groups, and she had wanted to catch COVID so there would be fewer restrictions on her movement. 2 days before she died, she wrote on social media she was recovering, saying, "Now there will be theater, sauna, a concert." Nope, there will be funeral, burial, and memories. Because you aren't with us anymore.
Oh my goodness. So, and it's crazy that they Rio shut down Carnival, considering the president of Brazil didn't believe in COVID for a long time.
Yeah. Have you seen on Twitter? There's a hashtag that let me find it really quick because I want to make sure I don't screw it up. I saw it this morning and I'm like, what is wrong with people? I know what's wrong with people. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was hashtag I'm over COVID. I believe that was what the hashtag was this morning.
Oh, because of stupid Barry Weiss and Bill Maher on Friday.
Let me see. I'm over COVID. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So just tweeting the hashtag I'm over COVID doesn't actually make it go away.
Yeah. And her being over it doesn't make it go away.
Right? I think we're all over it. We're all fucking sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. You're sick and tired of it. We're both vaccinated and boosted. We're fucking tired of it. I'm just saying. Nobody is not.
Yeah, you're not making the shit go away.
Right.
Just because you're over it.
What have we become? What have we become?
We've been living in denial about a lot of shit for a long time.
My
but
God.
Now we are.
Think about for a moment. Just think about for a moment. FDR's address. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Hashtag I'm over COVID.
And I'm with Howard Stern. I said this before, and I'll say it again. Cool. If you're over COVID, that's fine. If you want to just go live your life, go for it. Don't take your ass to the hospital. Don't go to the doctor's office. If with COVID, if you have another ailment, cool. But if you got COVID and you didn't want to do any of this shit, stay the fuck out of the hospital.
Well, and that's the other part of this whole thing is because there's been this huge surge. Everybody's like, well, blah, blah, blah. It's mild COVID. It's not. People are dying from this. Little kids are getting sicker and sicker because it's so contagious that little kids who are too young to get vaccinated are getting this and going to the hospital. We're seeing numbers of them. The other thing that we're seeing from this is people are getting procedures that are not emergency procedures canceled and delayed because they cannot go to the hospital because there's too much COVID. It has taxed the staff. It has taxed the resources. And when you're talking about preventative tests and you're talking about procedures like that, you are risking worse outcomes for people because they cannot get those procedures. So if I don't find out that I have something for 4 to 6 months down the road because I couldn't go and get a test because the hospital is inundated with COVID patients, then it reduces my chance of a good outcome. And that's the part of it that doesn't get talked about a lot is it's not just COVID people that this is getting. If you get COVID and you have to go to the hospital for whatever reason it might be. So like this Omicron thing, one of the side effects is really bad diarrhea. Now, if you get really bad diarrhea and you get dehydrated to a certain level, you have to go in and get rehydrated. You need that medical treatment or you're going to die
Yeah.
of your quote unquote mild COVID. And I've heard stories of people who have had to go in, they've had to go and do this, and they ended up spending 10, 12 hours on a gurney in a hallway.
Yeah.
Because there's no room for them anywhere. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
So we're all over COVID, but saying I'm over COVID doesn't make COVID go away. I think that's really the message that I shouldn't have to say, but apparently I do. Can I ask you this, Kareem? I need to know, the fuck is wrong with John Stockton?
Oh my God. Where the fuck do you I'm it's the QAnon thing. It's like,
Yeah.
where do y'all get these numbers from? And who are these people that are dying? Because
so let me just for people who don't know, because I didn't know this until late yesterday. NBA legend John Stockton did an interview. So he's not vaccinated, and so his season tickets at Gonzaga were temporarily taken away from him because they're like, well, if you're not vaccinated, you can't come to the games, fool. He did an interview and he made a claim that more than 100 pro athletes have died from the COVID vaccine, which it's not a thing. He did the interview with Spokane Spokesman Review. He asserted without a shred of evidence that scores of athletes have died in the middle of competition from the vaccines. He asserted that more than 100 professional athletes have died of vaccination. He said tens of thousands of people, perhaps millions, have died from vaccines, adding, and I quote now, I think it's highly recorded now. There's 150, I believe now. It's over 100 professional athletes dead. Professional athletes in the prime of their life dropping dead that are vaccinated, right on the pitch, right on the field, right on the court. You think we wouldn't have fucking heard about that on ESPN?
To my knowledge, there hasn't been a player in the NFL, the NBA, or Major League Baseball or hockey who has died, period, this year.
I don't believe in the MLS either.
Yeah, on anybody's active roster, there has been no player that's died that I have read, heard, seen, and I get media all that news of some sort all day long, all the time. It ain't happening. And a lot of the videos that they were showing were from people that died from shit 6 years ago.
Well, last year, he appeared in an anti-vax documentary titled COVID and the Vaccine, Truth, Lies, and Misconceptions Revealed. In the film, he claimed to have done, quote, a significant amount of research, end quote. Motherfuckers need to stop with this I'm doing research bullshit, because you're not. You're reading nonsense on the internet. You're not doing any research.
No.
Stop it.
And I'm going to say what I said before. If the NFL is letting their players play, if the NBA is letting their players play, and they're forcing them, they're mandating them to get vaccine, and the only reason they're not mandating it is because of the players' union.
Right.
Then it's safe because that is their bread and butter. And if they had any inkling that anything was wrong with this, they would not be playing. They would not that they would not be playing. They would not be giving it to their players.
No.
Point blank, period.
Do you think LeBron James would be getting vaccinated if there were any chance that it was dangerous? Dude has literally everything to live for. He's got kids. He's got a future. He's got a legacy. He wants to win some more.
No, look, not LeBron James, the Los Angeles Lakers.
No, I understand. I understand
would not
what you're saying.
let him get the vaccine.
Right. But if it were harmful, I don't think LeBron James, as an example, would be out getting it.
Yeah.
We're far enough down the line. What the fuck?
Yeah. Like I said, I really don't understand how they don't know how anything fucking works.
Kareem, what's wrong with white people?
Man,
What is
I
wrong
had
with
I had this conversation with some white people last week, and
and did they shed any light on it?
it didn't go well. It went okay.
It didn't go well. They,
Uh,
they weren't ready to admit there was a problem, because that's really the first step.
That's really the first step. And I said, is they want to be the smartest person in the room, and the dude kept proving my point that he wanted to be the smartest person in the room. It was like, no,
Yeah.
it's just not. And then back to my favorite topic of white women.
Oh boy.
You're not a minority. You're a minority. The only reason you're a minority is to sabotage real minorities. You are the CIA of minorities.
All right. All right, let's get to this. Hold on.
Florida, land of enchantment and crazy shit. This is Florida Corner.
This story titled Just Visiting. A Connecticut teacher left her 2 children at home alone while she vacationed with her boyfriend in
Florida.
That's right. According to investigators who say the woman told the minors to stay out of sight in her home's basement and just eat candy for dinner. Her name is Carrie Cavasia. She's 36 when she was arrested on reckless endangerment and risk of injury charges in connection with her 3-day trip to the Sunshine State in late November. She's free on $5,000 bond in advance of a January 25th Superior Court hearing. Police began investigating her after her ex-husband reported that she had left the children ages 9 and 11 alone in a Watertown residence. She has primary custody of the boy and girl and is a middle school teacher in the Waterbury School District. As detailed in an arrest affidavit, her former spouse provided cops with a series of incriminating texts she exchanged with her children while she was out of town. She wrote, "Both of you stay in the basement. Just stand downstairs." One child asked, "Are we going to school?" "No, right?" And she replied, "No." Now, on a Sunday evening, when one of the children asked, "What are we going to have for dinner?" she answered, "Just eat candy. I'm sorry. And whatever is downstairs, I'll make it up to you."
Why didn't you just leave him with the father?
Gonna guess she ain't right. Cops charged that she wanted the children to stay out of sight in the basement. When one of the minors asked, "Can I pee?" she replied, "Quick, no lights." After one of the children wrote, "I'm sad. I put my batteries upstairs." She said the child could go upstairs super fast, but noted, "Stay low so no one sees you." When the police last month confronted her, she admitted to spending a weekend in Florida with her boyfriend, but claims her brother had stayed with the children. Both juveniles, however, told cops they were left home unsupervised, with one of the children saying that only their dog was with them. Her son told police that mother left snacks to eat, but that she ordered Uber Eats for the children several times. The boy recalled that his mother advised not to go upstairs and to stay in the basement.
Why did she? Okay, so $5,000 bond is one question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it only that? And then the other question is, where are the kids?
It does not say in this
She should
story
not have.
where the kids are. I'm guessing they're back with dad
They better be.
or somewhere else, but they are. I'm guessing they're not with her. Yeah, not gonna read that story. Anyway, that's it for
Florida.
All right. It's a super short Florida corner this week. So,
Yeah.
we'll, right? It's super short, but really it's as depressing as a full Florida Florida situation. All right. I need to talk to you about Tucker Carlson. And I'm going to play the clip first so people who are listening can sort of follow along and go, "Oh, that's what we're talking about." Tucker Carlson on his show is doing a segment about M&Ms and the cartoon characters of the M&Ms. Not the guy M&Ms, the ones that we see like 90% of the time, but the female M&Ms. The lower third on the screen reads, "Candy in sexy shoes is highly offensive." I give you Tucker Carlson.
The other big change is that the brown M&M has, quote, transitioned from high stilettos to lower block heels. Also less sexy. That's progress. M&Ms will not be satisfied until every last cartoon character is deeply unappealing and totally androgynous. Until the moment you wouldn't want to have a drink with any one of them. That's the goal. When you're totally turned off, we've achieved equity. They've won.
Okay. So when you're totally turned off, we've achieved equity and they've won. Which begs the question, was Tucker Carlson beating off to the M&Ms?
That's what it sounded like.
It really does. It really does. And it makes me never want to go trick-or-treating at Tucker Carlson's house.
Like, I like the commercials, but I'm not thinking about that deeply.
Not like that. Not like that.
Not thinking about them that hard at all.
And by the way, they're M&Ms. Of course they're fucking androgynous. They're candy-coated chocolate pieces. Some with peanuts, some with peanut butter, some with almonds inside.
Yes. And then I will say this, for as much as Tucker thought about that bullshit, whoever the other person on the other side of that took enough time to think that it was a big deal to make about changing the way the M&M look, you need to, you're a half a step away from Tucker. Like, stop. Just some of this shit, just stop.
I just need to know this. Why do we give a shit? Why does anybody give a shit if the M&M is wearing lower block heels?
Exactly.
Are you really sick of COVID if your thoughts are occupied by the brown M&M and her newly lower heels so that her candy legs don't get as tired?
Like, who thought that it was a deal? I'm offended by the fact that she has on. Who the fuck is getting offended by M&Ms?
I don't think anybody was getting offended. My guess is somebody looked at that and said, you know what? It just shows, and this is a viewpoint that possibly could be going out there, that you don't necessarily want to put out in any way, shape, or form that in order for girls to be accepted, they need to be wearing high heels. They can wear whatever they like. Is that woke? I don't know that that's woke.
It's fucking ridiculous. That's what it is.
But
it's a fucking M&M.
It really is.
It's an M&M.
I'm again. I still am more disturbed by Tucker Carlson getting aroused by M&Ms.
I am too. I am more disturbed by that because I never saw one of those commercials like, "Ooh, I want to fuck that M&M."
Right?
Like, I want to fucking eat that M&M, and the other one that's next to it, but not.
I want to go down on that M&M.
Yeah, not a thought. Never thought that it was sexy. I was like, okay, so that's a female. Oh, it's a cute commercial. Like, okay, where can I get some plain M&Ms? That's it. Or no, stop. Stop, please. Just stop.
How good is it? How good is it when the prime time on Fox News has nothing bigger to complain about and make into a crisis than this? This is where we are. They couldn't find anything else. They couldn't find enough topics that day to fill up their outrage machine that they went, you know what? They're making M&Ms less sexy. What the fuck? This will not stand. This will not stand. I can't look. I only get a half chub now when I watch the M&M commercials. They've won. I don't even want to go out for a beer with it.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get that M&M drunk and take advantage of it. That's where this is going. That's what the conversation was. He literally talked about wanting to go out for a drink with it. What the fuck?
Somebody should have 5150'd his ass right then. Involuntary commitment for 72 hours. They should put him on a 72-hour hold right then and there. And I'm not making fun of mental health issues. Involuntary hold for 72 hours right then and there.
I need to know. What I would love to know is I would love to be able to individually, just one-on-one, pull his producers aside and the crew who works on his show and go, what the fuck was going through your mind when you saw that? Yeah. I want to the graphics department.
You've been there. What the fuck would I'm trying? What would the conversation be, man? Enlighten us, Nate. What would that conversation be like?
I don't know. I've never worked on a show like this, but I know their whole point is to generate outrage, and they thought this was a way to generate outrage. It was like the guy mad about Carhartt, and he's spouting shit like "Go woke, go broke." I mean, it's that same sort of outrage that they're changing my country, and it's changing it's like
they need a fucking intervention. If you work for that show, you need an intervention. Your family needs to pull you aside on the weekend, and everybody that loves you needs to get you together in a room and show you what you just talked about. What you produced, what you wrote.
There's a lot of talk about the FCC and Fox News, and the FCC doesn't enter into the picture at all with Fox News because it's a cable outlet, and the FCC only controls over-the-air broadcast. But there has to be a way to go, look, you don't get to call yourself news if you're doing this shit. You can call yourself a variety of other things, but news really isn't one of them. Because it's not, I mean, they'll argue that it's news, but they'll
go to court and say that it's entertainment and nobody should take them seriously.
Right. No one should take me seriously when you're suing me. But that's how that flies. All right, let's wrap this puppy up and get the hell out of here.
Let's leave the hustle and bustle for small town news.
Good news, Kareem, and this comes to us from Midland, Michigan. Headline: furries are not using litter boxes in Midland schools' bathrooms.
What?
A claim made at a Midland Public Schools board meeting was sharply refuted by the district's superintendent last Thursday. In a message sent out to the MPS community by Superintendent Michael Sharrow, he denied that litter boxes were being kept in bathrooms for student furries. This rumor was spread after a clip was spread from a December 20th Board of Education meeting where a resident made this claim. He said, "There's no truth whatsoever to this false statement / accusation. There has never been litter boxes within NPS schools. It's such a source of disappointment that I felt the necessity to communicate this message to you." At the meeting, a resident, Lisa Kowicki Hansen, said she heard about the litter boxes from kids, and they were for kids who identified as cats.
She needs an intervention. Or her ass beat.
She added that she was really disturbed by this and that she will continue to investigate. Now, in case you're wondering, according to Merriam-Webster, a furry is a person who dresses up in a costume resembling anthropomorphic animals. Furries will design costumes of, make art of, and role play as their characters and do not identify as animals like Hansen claimed. the superintendent added, in this divisive, contentious world in which we currently find ourselves, I ask that if you hear wild accusations that don't sound like something in which your Midland Public Schools Board of Education Administration District would be part, take a moment and send an MPS Connect message to me. Midland Public Schools' main emphasis was, is, and always will be to educate our community's children with excellence, integrity, and respect. So one crazy lady at a school board meeting said she heard from some kids that there were litter boxes in the bathrooms for the kids who identify as cats to go to the bathroom in. And this went so far in this small town ecosystem, school ecosystem, that enough people were talking about it and outraged about it that the superintendent needed to say, no, there's no one shitting in a litter box in the public bathrooms in our schools.
What the fuck is wrong with these people? She needs again 5150. She needs a hold.
Look,
she needs to be put on a hold.
I kind of want to go there. I kind of want to go there and start spreading nonsense to the very gullible people of Midland, Michigan.
If you're going to go out of your house and go stand in front of a microphone at a school board meeting or any other public meeting and say some bullshit like this, you deserve the 3 days that you would get at whatever psychiatric facility that you are placed in.
I'm very disturbed and I'm going to investigate further. Okay,
The
Columbo.
Should have a straight jacket at every one of these, and everybody that says some stupid shit like this should be put straight into it and walked into the back of the ambulance and taken to a mental facility. Do not pass go, do not collect $200.
What are you more disturbed by? Tucker Carlson getting aroused by M&Ms, or people believing that there were children identifying as cats shitting in litter boxes?
This might have beat Tucker Carlson.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry Jason missed this episode. I know he's got a lot going on at home, and
Yes.
we wish nothing but the best for him, but I really would have enjoyed his reaction to that.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
to know. By
Oh
the way,
my God.
who would be cleaning these litter boxes?
Exactly.
Just that. Just
Right.
that.
Look, right now schools are asking parents to volunteer to be substitute teachers because they don't have fucking enough teachers because of COVID. Who's cleaning
Right.
litter boxes? Who's
okay.
indulging this shit at this time?
Okay, parents, here's what we're going to need. We're going to need volunteers to clear the litter boxes because we have children that identify as cats that shit in them in the public restrooms, and they just need to be cleaned.
Yes. Who is indulging that at this point in time? Nobody.
I would love to sit down with this superintendent, even more so than the people that work on Tucker Carlson's show, because fuck them, they're part of the problem.
Yeah.
I would love to sit down with this school superintendent and go, tell me about the litter boxes, because I want to see someone's eyes roll that hard.
Yes.
Like, I think that might cause an aneurysm if your eyes roll that hard.
Yes.
I got a PhD and I got to talk about the idea that their kids shitting in litter boxes.
Yes. He's like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
Well, good luck, Midland, Michigan. Thank you for contributing to Small Town News. Thank you for listening and being a part of our little festival of nonsense that we carry on here. And
Yes.
tell a friend that you've heard that we've earned our WTH this week.
Oh,
we worked hard and we earned it this week, Kareem.
Oh yeah. And
All right, my friend, have a wonderful week. We will see you all next time. Any last words?
hug your people, tell them you love them, even if you don't mean it.
True. And Jason, hope all is well with you. We'll see you next time.